Welcome to the Business Your Way podcast. I'm your host, Caryn Gillen, and today we're going to talk about an operating system. The operating system that's working in my brain whenever I'm coaching anyone, whether it's on life, leadership, or business. And the way we're going to look at it today is through the lens of a coaching business because that's helpful. And because I just created the curriculum for this behind the scenes in my group, the Advisor Circle, which is a small group for coaches who are working on building businesses that they love and want to run. So the operating system is really the way I think a lot of coaching happens. And I want to take you behind the scenes with that. So anyone who happens to be watching on YouTube, you are about to get to see it because we've got the video. So here it is. It starts with seeing, making decisions, making moves, learning from your moves, adjusting, and goes back to seeing. So it's a circle, like most things in life. And I just want to break down each step so that you have it moving forward. So each of our businesses is its own unique identity. Some of them have a lot of similarities, just like a lot of us might have a lot of similarities, but we're all different. I think one of the things that makes us different is the way in which life has always worked for us, the way we always got jobs, or the way that kind of momentum has always happened for us, or good things have come in for us. That leaves clues. And whether you were 15 years old and getting a job from the classmate your mom went to school with at the ice cream shop, or you're getting clients now, there are roots in both in that original thing that impact how clients come in. And I just have seen it hundreds of times. I've seen it with myself, the way that I've always gotten jobs, the way that I've always gotten opportunity is from my network. So I know that I can't sleep on my network because that's the way this business works, right? So one of the things with seeing in our businesses is really assessing what is actually happening and giving the data some time to breathe, some time to get looked at, and some neutrality. So if the data in your business is saying nobody's ever booking a consultation call, then we have information that the way you're showing up isn't working in some way or another, right? It could be that you're creating a lot, you're getting a lot of hearts on your Instagram posts, you're getting a lot of requests to be on other people's podcasts, you're doing like, and there's some momentum there, there's some stuff happening, but it's actually not delivering what you want it to deliver. So that's when I think it's time for you to look at the data and tell yourself the truth with it. Um, One of the ways that I'm always thinking about business behind the scenes is like, well, what's happening in the five core areas of my business? So what's happening with lead generation. So am I bringing new people in to see what's going on? Have I gone on a podcast and shared a freebie? Have I been a part of a summit or a bundle? Have I hosted a live workshop in my hometown where people could come and figure out what is this thing called life coaching? Um, have I done things to get new people understanding what it is I do? The other area next up is nurturing. Am I taking care of the people who are around? If I have 200, 500, 1,700 people on my email list, am I actually emailing them? Am I sharing things with them that are helpful? Am I inviting them to get on a sales call with me? That's my job, right? So, and then if things are going okay in those areas, it's like, well, what about sales? Is my sales process working? Do I know how to make a sale? Do I ever even get a chance to make a sale? And then after that, it's client delivery. How am I actually doing at what I'm doing? And finally, it's reselling and upselling to the people we've been fortunate enough to work with. So as you're assessing your business, look at those parts. Look at those five parts of your coaching practice and notice like what's missing, what's weird, what do I know and I'm not making space for? And be honest with yourself. That leads us to the next step, which is decide. Once you see, you will have information that you will need to make decisions about. If you realize that you only get one consult a month and you have a 50% close rate, that means you only get a new client every other month, and that's not enough for your business to be viable, then there's a decision to make. You could quit, or you could look at like, well, what makes the one consult a month come in that does come in? And how do I do more of that? And how do I make a decision to prioritize that? And make those decisions quickly because your business happens at the speed of your decision making. Okay, and the next step is move, act, take action and take action quickly. And I'm often talking about what is the next best step. You do not need to know everything that's going to happen for the rest of this year before you do the very next best thing. We can usually see the very next best step. Sometimes there's a bunch of stuff in front of it, bunch of best laid plans, really good ideas, things we learned how to do that we're not actually ready to implement yet. But if we get down to it and we set our to-do list aside and we check in with our business and we think about what it needs, then ask ourselves, what is the next best step? And go and do that thing. And then ask yourself that question again. What is the next best step now? And go and do that thing. And just keep going. Just keep doing that. You can get yourself really, really far just by showing up in that way. All right. And then you want to learn. So you've seen what's going on for your business. You've decided what you need to do to support it and yourself. You've taken action. Now you got to learn from the action. So I'm going to tell a client story from just the last month or so. Somebody was posting on Instagram and they decided to post every workday. And on day 21 of posting on every workday, they got a message that the person really sees themselves in their content and should they talk. She wants to know about what it looks like to work together. Okay, so that's a data point, right? So if we take that data point and ask ourselves like, well, what can we make up about our business if that's our data? The first thing I would make up is that when I post really specific content directed at my ideal client with a call to action for 21 times, that I'll get a consult from it, which makes it a lot easier for me to want to post another 21 times. I can do that, right? I can show up in that way. That's measurable. That I feel like I have some control over. And maybe it'll only take 15 more days, or maybe it will take 42. But then we have a new data point. That's what we need. We need consistent enough action that we can decide, well, here's how that worked for me. I'm going to try that again. Okay. So you're evaluating your results. You're just looking at like, look, this is what it takes for me to get a client. If I want to have a business, I'm going to go do what it takes for me to get a client. And while I'm doing what I know works with some of the time I have available to me, I'm going to test other things in case there are other things that might work better for me. So then I want you to think about adjusting. You're going to change, you're going to pause, you're going to end things, you're going to quit stuff because of what you've learned from paying attention, from seeing, from making quick decisions and taking action. You will learn what you need to adjust. And then you go adjust that thing. I know that we don't know how to quit very well. It is not a cultural norm for us to say quitters are the most agile, but maybe we could. Could we say that? Quitters are the most agile? I'm kind of into it. We say winners never quit. But I got to tell you, in business, if you start doing something that doesn't work and it takes energy and it takes revenue and it takes time and you never quit doing it, you're just going to dig a hole for yourself. Your business is going to cease to exist if it takes enough time and enough energy. You have to be willing to adjust. If you do not want to be agile, you probably shouldn't be an entrepreneur. We need to know how to shift and change, right? We also need to know how to keep doing what's working. So, in your adjustments, if you're running tests and they're really flailing, but you still have these solid ways that you know work, go ahead and quit the tests and go do what works. Keep doing what works. So often, I catch myself not doing the things that bring the fastest results and the easiest results. And sometimes the reason I don't do them is because it feels too easy. Isn't that ridiculous? But it's the truth. So it's good for us to periscope up, get a good view of what's going on, notice where we quit doing what worked, and get back to it. Okay, so that's essentially what's happening behind the scenes when I'm coaching any coach on their business. I'm assessing where are they? What is it that they're trying to test right now? What is it that they think is working? I want to know what's going on in their mind that they have chosen the strategy they've chosen or the tactic they've chosen. And I honestly do the same thing, whether it's a business or a person, because understanding how to neutrally look at the results we're getting in life is a great life skill. It's a good awareness builder. All right. If you're at all interested in checking out the advisor circle, you can go to my website, carengillen.com/advisor dash circle. All right. Check it out. All right. I think that's all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it's helpful.